Welcome back to another episode of Hang 10. It is February 16th at the time we're recording this. It has been a very cold winter, and I feel like we're in for at least a couple more weeks of cold, more wetsuits, putting on those layers when it comes to a surf session. So I figured this was a great time to kind of give us a break, at least mentally, with these Hang 10 episodes when it comes to the cold water side of things, because we've had a couple winter storms in a row here. We've been talking a lot about how to stay safe and how to properly kit yourself or have the correct gear for yourself when it comes to a winter surf session. So we've been doing that recently. I wanted to switch gears, and I went back into the archives, the Bryan, Michigan Surf Archives. I've been filming my surfing for really as long as I can remember. I've always been a huge fan of just strapping a GoPro to my board or just the mouth mount configuration and just getting out there and filming my surfing. It's been a really cool side hobby of mine. And over 2 years ago now, so it's been a little bit of a while, but right after graduating college, myself and all my friends from New Jersey, that's where I'm from, we went on a surfing trip to El Salvador. This was one of those surf trips where we've been talking about it for years, I think probably since middle school. And it was one of those things where it's like, oh, the trip finally made it out of the group chat. And this was one that's been in the works for quite some time. An El Salvador surf trip. My buddy Corey, his dad, has been going to El Salvador for years now. I think this trip that we went on was, I think, close to his 15th time there or something like that. So he has kind of that not so much local knowledge, but he's very familiar with the territory. So we've always heard stories about how great the right-hand point breaks are in El Salvador. A couple things about the country. It's beautiful. The people are amazing there. It's a really happy place. The locals that you meet there, a lot of them are just, stoked on life, especially the surfers, of course. They grew up with perfect waves. But it's known for its rocky coastline, kind of this boulder, volcanic kind of rock formations. It's a really interesting coastline. Nothing like the East Coast, that's for sure. We're used to our long, flat, sandy beaches. They've got a lot of rocky formations, a lot of warm water, right-hand point breaks. Now, their average water temperature, I did some digging here. When I was there, it was around 88 degrees. This was in June of 2023. So it was around 88 degrees, ridiculously warm. And especially with how hot it is outside, the humidity, it's one of those things where you go into the ocean and it's not so much of a breath of fresh air, I guess. It's not a relief. You're going in, it's hot still. That's how the tropical Pacific waters are. 82 to 84 degrees is generally their average range of water temperature. So, I mean, this time of year, if you're looking to escape the cold, El Salvador, there's over 200 plus surfable days per year. I think we may be half of that here on the East Coast for a lot of spots. I think in Virginia Beach, we're probably around 100 on average. I could be wrong on that, but I know we're not anywhere close to the amount of surf that El Salvador is used for. They get waves all the time. They have a feature offshore. That's the Middle America Trench. It kind of helps to amplify swell, especially long period swell, which is traveling all the way across the Pacific Ocean. They handle long period swells quite well. If you remember back, we did an episode comparing beach breaks to point breaks. Since there's so many point breaks, you want that longer period of swell, that longer wall to wrap its way into a point as the waves are coming in. So it's just a perfect setup there for really long, just world-class waves pretty much everywhere you go. We have spots like Punta Roca. You probably have heard that before. If you watch the WSL Tour, they've had stops there before. K59 is another one, another pretty well-known spot. El Sunzal, I believe it is. I've never been there. I surfed in Las Flores and Punta Mango. Now, Punta Mango is a rocky point break bottom. Las Flores is a sand bottom. So two different kinds of points there that I'll have footage for you. I think some of my longest waves of my life were, I think, Las Flores. I think I had like 10 turns on one waves. The legs were burning. It was an incredible experience for those looking to maybe get a surf trip going to El Salvador. The peak of the season for larger south swells typically ranges from May to October. That's also their rainy season. It also goes with the Eastern Pacific hurricane season as well. You can kind of get some extra short period energy from that. But again, their best swells are the long period ones coming from the Southern Pacific Ocean, traveling really long distances. But May to October, that's kind of the time to target. More of a beginner surfer, that's kind of October or really November till April. That's kind of their smaller wave season. You could still get big days there mixed in, but yeah, so that's kind of the window you're targeting, and depending on when you look and how far in advance, you can get pretty good deals on flights. So enjoy this episode of Hang 10. Once we come back after the break, we'll get right in to this video, surfing in El Salvador. So stay with me. First ever surf in El Salvador. Woo! It is the morning. We're walking on the beach here in El Salvador. It is our last day of the trip. This is actually gonna be my last session of the trip to El Salvador. It's been amazing. One of the best trips of my life with all my friends, pumping waves every single day, and that's no different today. We're getting after it. Offshore winds, waves around 4 or 5 foot, some bigger sets. So really stoked. One last session here in El Salvador at Punta Mango. So let's do it. Thank you all for tuning in to this week's episode of Hang 10. Before I go, I want to talk about one more thing when it comes to the country of El Salvador, because in 2019, they launched the Surf City Initiative. Now, this was the government of El Salvador trying to boost tourism across the region. And to do that, they wanted to tap into surfing. Again, they have a rich coastline of waves. You saw it in the video, pretty much a week's worth of surf. Me and my friends a couple years back, it was a blast. Some cows on the beach too. Just a really cool experience. You kind of see everything there. But they have the Surf City Initiative. It started in 2019 to boost tourism. You may have noticed in the beginning of the video all the construction for that coastal kind of roadway. That's part of the Surf City Initiative, just trying to branch out and make surfing just their main driver when it comes to tourism. So really cool stuff there. El Salvador, a little bit of some warmer vibes for everybody to help get us through this long winter here in Hampton Roads. So thank you all for tuning in to this week's episode of Hang 10. We will see you all next week.